Hi, everyone. My name is Erin Elizabeth Warenberg. Thank you so much to be here with me today. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you are new here. Today, we're talking about this feeling of discomfort that we all experience, okay? Sometimes it being a yes and sometimes it being a no. So most of us are not taught how to sit with our own discomfort. We're not taught that it's just a feeling that is giving us a message from our body. But instead, where most of us are taught, this feels bad, so let me distract myself by scrolling through social media, by you know, eating something, drinking something, looking at this thing over here, so we're either taught to distract ourselves away from it, or we're taught to kind of numb ourselves out and just, like if it happens inside of us, imagine just like, pushing it away or pushing it out of us. Like this isn't something I want to sit with or deal with or anything like that. So the first thing with discomfort, if this is a topic you want to explore further, is we have to recognize that it's important for us to not do that. Okay, easier said than done because we're all taught into it. And in this capitalistic world we live in, baby, those distractions are shoved in our faces. They're literally at our fingertips. It's very easy for us to kind of numb out and not want to sit with that. And that doesn't mean, you have to be the superhuman. I never move away from my discomfort ever, right? But, there is a healthy level of letting things settle in and being curious versus, completely avoiding everything. Because no matter how long you avoid it, it's going to be there when you're done avoiding it. Okay. So that's the first thing we want to say about discomfort. But once you move past that level of not wanting to distract yourself or numb out, then it can be the place of, well, this feels bad, so I don't want to look at it, right? But again, that goes back to most of us being taught that we're not given the healthy toolkits to look at discomfort and be like, what is this telling me? What message is it for me? What is sign from it? Is it from my body, right? And you don't have to like, go into it to death, like so much over and over and over again. You can do this reflective process for as long or as short as you want. You can let it mean as much or as little as you want it to mean. So this doesn't mean you have to turn into this big giant, questioning everything your whole existence of life, right? You can, but it's like it's baby steps. So you're going to get better at this the more you do it. But so, I think the questions we can look at with discomfort is, you want to look at it as a message, like I said, from your body, a sign, some awareness, and you want to look at it with more of mindful curiosity, with some detachment before you decide this is bad, I have to get away, or, whatever's going on with that. So discomfort, again, is just something that our body is sending us the signal that something's off. And it's helpful to reframe it in the way of we exist in our comfort zone, right? So our comfort zone is where we know how things go, we know what's happening, it's predictable to us. We're just kind of like on autopilot doing the things we know how to do or that feel good to us. And then we get to our not comfort zone, outside of our comfort zone, and that's where we get pushed or questioned, or things aren't as familiar to us. And that could be something small like driving a different direction, or it could be something huge like, learning a new language or moving to another country, or being in a relationship in a way you never have been before, right? So there's different layers and levels of that. But once we're outside of our comfort zone, the human ego doesn't like that. Our survival brain doesn't like that, because we've been conditioned for, so long as humans, to not just this lifetime, but all the humans that existed before us, that discomfort is like something unpredictable can happen. It's usually around safety, or, I don't know what's going to happen, so how am I going to protect myself or have food or survive or whatever. Your own individual story obviously will of course come into play with this, depending on different certain things. So all of us get out of our comfort zone in different ways. So discomfort shows up. Something that's very comfortable for me might be very uncomfortable for someone else. Someone that might be very comfortable for someone else might be very uncomfortable for me, right? So this is, again, like everything I say, take it how it resonates for you and apply it how it resonates to your own life. But so once we identify that, a lot of us, again, are taught this feeling of, well, discomfort's here, so it must be this discomfort I'm feeling must mean it's a no. I don't want to do it. It's not for me. I have to shut down because I don't feel like totally grounded or secure. Like, yes, this is what I know what I'm doing. And especially as we get older, a lot of us are conditioned out of, that beginner's mindset, or the new to this thing mindset of, can I be a learner in this moment? Can I feel like I don't know what I'm doing and be okay with that? Especially as we again get older, because there's more and more things in our lives that are just kind of like on routine and on autopilot, that we don't have to challenge ourselves as much. And so when discomfort does happen, And because of course we get in routines. And so when discomfort does happen, the mind can go like, okay, well, actually, that's not for me. That's a clear stop. I'm not doing this. I'm not being involved. But that discomfort doesn't always mean that. Now, again, I can't tell you when it means what for you or what it doesn't mean for you or anything like that. But it's important to look at discomfort and again, get curious about it. And so this is something, of course, you'll get better with as you practice, as you investigate yourself, as you, question a lot of that. But just remembering that, again, discomfort doesn't always have to mean no. It definitely can. Okay. So there are times that, discomfort or like we can get an intuitive hit of just like, don't go over there or don't go to this thing or cancel this certain thing, right? And if you know what that feels like in your body, definitely listen to those. And discomfort can also feel like, I'm making myself do this certain thing because I think I have to, or it's just like a learned response to something that I'm trying to break, right? So discomfort can definitely for sure be a no, but it can also be a yes. And discomfort can be a yes because again, when we think about that comfort zone, it's just like unfamiliarity. And so when we're trying to learn something new or do something new or like put a lesson we've been learning into practice, right? It's like we're all geniuses and masters of the lessons when we're just thinking about it or writing about it or talking about it. But when it's time to actually implement it in physical reality, that's when, sometimes we can get we're feeling a little uncomfortable with it, right? So discomfort as a yes, just this is again where you do the work of turning inward. And so if we just feel like, oh, I'm uncomfortable, so I can't do this, I'm not going to move forward, right? Like, and that's why a lot of times people who use alcohol, there's a saying, right? Like liquid courage, right? Because some of this fades away when we are under the influence, like we don't have as much fear of doing certain things. But so we know discomfort can be a yes when it's just a feeling of not feeling like we're in control, or again, we're in that beginner mindset, or like we feel shame from society that we've internalized of just like, oh, I don't know how to do this thing. The first 5 minutes I've tried it, so I don't want to do this anymore, right? So there is, when we are trying to rewrite patterns, learn a new skill, do something different, be different in some way, this discomfort can come up because again, this is our comfort zone of things we know, things we're really good at. Once we move outside of that, then of course it's not going to feel totally familiar and comfortable to us. So some ways you can practice this is just paying attention to, so the first thing is of course not just shutting down and pushing it away and saying like, I don't want to deal with this, I'm uncomfortable, so I'm going to stop whatever I'm doing, right? So kind of reframing discomfort in your mind of discomfort doesn't automatically equal bad. It just means I'm getting a message from my body and I want to be curious about it. I want to be mindful about it before you decide either way. Now, obviously, of course, there are exceptions to that. If you're like, in a situation and something just goes off of like, I need to leave right now, listen to your intuition. Of course, I'm not here to talk anyone out of listening to their intuition, but this is about, in these moments of just getting more comfortable with discomfort and just kind of looking at it and observing it instead of, pushing it away and just being like, hey, this could be a learning moment for me. Maybe something's happening, maybe something's going on, right? So, this is, so the first thing is getting clear about the body's sensations, right? So like, I know I'm uncomfortable when my heart starts beating or I start sweating or I get a pit in my stomach, the knot in my stomach, right? My breathing gets a little comfortable. I feel like a little, I need to look around. I'm a little nervous. So there could be physical sensations in the body. There could be what stories go off in your mind, right? Like I'm not safe, I need to leave, or wow, I'm so stupid, or, just kind of noticing what stories are going off in your mind that make you want to go back into your comfort zone. It could be all or nothing thinking, right? Like, I'm never going to be good at this. I can't believe in thought I could try this. I can't, whatever is going on with that. But just kind of looking at those messages and those body sensations and just getting curious about them. And one thing you can do with that is just say, okay, here's my discomfort. And then asking yourself, like, what am I afraid of? Or where's this discomfort coming from? Is it because I just feel uncomfortable because I'm not good at this particular skill yet? Or, I'm trying to practice a new relationship pattern, romantically or platonically, and I've never done it before, so it's not familiar. Or is it, I've been trying to try this new relationship pattern, but the other person is just not willing to work with me on this. So I need to leave the situation, right? That's when it could be a no, but it could be a yes of like, I'm the one being uncomfortable right now because this is a new thing for me. And so just, trying to play the discomfort all the way through of just like, what is this communicating to me? What am I what's the story that's going on within me, and so sometimes when we can recognize, it's just like, oh, I just feel uncomfortable because I'm not very good at this new skill yet, or I'm not very good at this, isn't super familiar for me to do it in this particular way yet, right? So when you play that all the way, that can kind of release some of the fight or flight or fawn response that goes off when we feel discomfort, and it can give us the freedom to be like, oh, okay, well, now I know it's just that, so now I can just keep moving forward with feeling a little bit of discomfort around this thing until the new pattern or habit or skill or whatever becomes familiar. Once it becomes familiar enough to us and it gets in our comfort zone, then maybe we won't feel as uncomfortable. But there are certain things, I'm a facilitator and an educator. I've been doing that for like over a decade, and every once in a while I still get nervous or uncomfortable when it's time to do one of these things, right? So even if it's a skill you have many times, it's okay also if the discomfort never goes away. It's just, again, discerning for yourself, is this discomfort that's telling me yes, keep going, or is this discomfort that's telling me no, this is not a thing for me, I need to kind of pull it back, say no, set a boundary, whatever is going on with you there. And then the last thing I want to say about this is, even if you follow all the body messages, even if you're like, okay, this is the clear messaging for me about this situation, this is what I know I'm supposed to learn from it, right? Even if you do all of that and then it doesn't turn out the way you thought, or the discomfort never goes away, or whatever, it doesn't mean you did something wrong. So we can listen clear as day to our body, we can hear the messages, we can do all of that, right? And we're still not in full control of everything. Okay, we can't control other people, we can't control timings of a lot of things. God is in control, we are not in control. So even if you get really good at listening to your body, listening to your intuition, listening to your messages, if things don't turn out the way you thought they were going to for whatever reason, don't take that as something to beat yourself up about, or feel shame that like, oh well, I didn't listen to myself well enough. There is going to be some trial and error, of course. There are going to be times where we didn't quite get the messaging right to ourselves, but the important thing is to want to listen, to turn into that, to hold space for ourselves, to be kind and gentle as we go through this learning process, and kind of tap in, is this a yes or a no? And maybe we don't know. Sometimes we don't know if it actually is a yes or no until we take one more step out of our comfort zone and get a little more clarity. Okay, so this doesn't mean, you're going to be foolproof. Nothing's ever going to go wrong or not go the way I wanted in my life ever again. If you ever take that away from any of my videos, no offense, but I don't teach that at all. Okay, so we are not in control. God is in control. We can just only control ourselves. And so much of life is learning experiences in ways that maybe we wouldn't choose for ourselves, or in situations that we wouldn't choose for ourselves. And so, really this discomfort is just kind of, it's to build some deeper inner awareness within ourselves. And then the longer you practice this, the more nuanced the lessons are going to be. So you're going to have more nuance around, is this yes or is this no? And you're going to have to get, like a little more sneaky lessons, or things maybe showing up in a little bit of a different way, all of that is really going to, the more you practice this, that's the way it's going to show up for you. But the important thing, again, is just to remember that discomfort is just a message. It's not something you have to push away or move away from. And the longer you learn to sit with that, the more fruitful your relationship with yourself and these experiences is going to be for you. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.